Welcome to this celebration of life for our dear Noah. I'm Lori Borschke, Noah's aunt, Kristen's sister. For those of you who don't know me, I'm really happy to have met many of you today, and thank you so much for coming. For those of you who don't know me, I am getting a haircut on Wednesday, so. Okay. We're going to open the celebration today with a poem that Noah's godmother Rachel discovered, and it's to be read by Noah's cousin Scott Borschke. It's a very meaningful poem, and let's give it a listen.
The title of the poem is To Those I Love and to Those Who Love Me. When I am gone, release me, let me go. I have so many things to see and do. You mustn't tie yourself to me with tears. Be happy that we had those few years. I gave you my love, you can only guess how much you gave to me in happiness. Thank you for the love you each have shown, but now it is time I traveled on alone. So grieve a while for me, if grieve you must, then let your grief be comforted by trust. It is only for a while that we must part, so bless the memories within your heart. I won't be far away, for life goes on, so if you need me, call and I will come. Though you can't see or touch me, I'll be near, and if you listen with your heart, you'll hear all my love around you, soft and clear. And then, when you must come this way alone, I'll greet you with my smile and welcome home.
The following scripture reading describes Jesus talking to the disciples, basically saying not to worry because he has already prepared a place for us to be with him always, and he is the way to God. He's got our back. The scripture reading is from John 14, verses 1 through 6, from the New Living Translation. Don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God and trust also in me. There is more than enough room in my Father's home. If this were not so, would I have told you that I'm going to prepare a place for you? When everything is ready, I will come and get you, so that you will always be with me where I am. And you know the way to where I'm going. No, we don't, Lord, Thomas said. We have no idea where you're going, so how can we know the way? Jesus told him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. Please take these next moments while the following song is played to remember your interactions with Noah and or his family members. This song is particularly special to Noah's mom, Kristen, and I know many of you will recognize this version. And I realize I'm not sure who's supposed to press the button. Got it.
Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, and the dream that you did to, oh why can't well, I see trees of green and red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, I see skies of blue and I see clouds of white and the brightness of day. I like the dark and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, singing, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like a lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. The dream that you dare to, why, oh why can't
I've always thought it really cool how music brings memories and so many feelings to us. And Noah came from a musical family on so many sides, and and it's always been a part. So I hope that when we get together for gatherings, we'd sing and enjoy, whether it was Christmas songs or songs that we just liked singing, we would do it, and it was always a lot of fun. When we were discussing possible scripture to share during this celebration, Noah's godmothers, Delcy and Rachel, immediately suggested this well-known psalm. I'm really glad that they did, because as I was reviewing different versions of it, I realized I really had never thought really about the words. And I've heard it 100 times. So the two versions I will read give comfort, each in their own manner. This is Psalm 23. This is from the traditional King James Version. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The second version is from the Message, the Bible in contemporary language. God, my shepherd, I don't need a thing. You have bedded me down in lush meadows. You find me quiet pools to drink from. True to your word, you let me catch my breath and send me in the right direction. Even when the way goes through Death Valley, I'm not afraid when you walk at my side. Your trusty shepherd's crook makes me feel secure. You serve me a 6-course dinner right in front of my enemies. You revive my drooping head. My cup brims with blessing. Your beauty and love chase after me every day of my life. I'm back home in the house of God for the rest of my life.
Glasses. There we go. Well, welcome, everybody. Oh. I didn't get that far. I was going to do a disclaimer about losing my composure, and it's happening, but please bear with me. I want to get through this. Well, thank you, everybody, for being here so we can celebrate Noah's wonderful life. And also mourn our loss. Honored and blessed that Chris asked me to speak on his behalf today. I might need your help, Lord, but before I start, I want to say after my remarks, I do want to ask folks if they want to come forward and say some things. You know, I'm sure we'd all be honored to hear your stories and reflections. So as his uncle, I can believe that the best word describes Noah is he's a free spirit. He was an individual in every way, every sense of the word. When I think of free spirits in my mind, I wander the clouds to the heavens, to the sunrises, the sunsets, the seasons of the years, and the weather. Yes, our weather. Think all of us who've experienced wonderful sunny days, lush and green, full of love, life, and joy. And at the same time, we've all experienced dark days, days of storms, clouds, winds, rains, tornadoes, coupled with loneliness, sadness, and emptiness. We'll all likely continue to do so until we utter our last breath on this planet. You see, Noah can relate to this. He can see this. He can hear this. He can understand this. Oh my God. Savior. Now it's going to be easy. He can relate to it. As a matter of fact, he can understand during his turbulent times, and I believe he had many turbulent times, more than we want to know, he didn't sit back waiting or wanting the storm to pass. No, life isn't about that. It's about learning to dance and celebrate in the storms and the rains of life. That's a lesson we can learn from Noah today. Not only did he dance in the storms and the rain, he was exuberant about it. Sure, Noah, he may have had more than the storms, and perhaps even had the wisdom and knowledge, knowing that other storms would be coming up fast upon his heels, but if he hadn't learned to dance in the rain, Noah would not have lived a life. He would not have lived a life. He would have lived a life that was dry, that was barren, like the desert. He would have been alone and unfulfilled. Now Grandpa can't see. Thank you. Thank you, buddy. I love you. Okay, you see, all right. I'm right here, Laura. Thank you, Laura. So anyway, but that wasn't Noah. No, he did live a life with a sharing, caring, honoring others. He was always there to help people, never did say no. He was, in fact, fulfilled. So indeed, he was a kind, loving, caring young man with a giving heart. And I'd like to share with you in the insert of the first page comments and thoughts that family and friends provided us for this program. So it's Noah. I will read that. Heart of gold, kind and gentle soul, lived hard and loved hard. My sweet, beautiful boy. He went too soon, but God has a reason why. What God's plan is, we'll never know. An angel sent from God to make a difference. Born with a purpose, a sweet soul, my angel. And I'd like to share a special day I had with Noah. Yes, a few years ago. That's right, Jack. As most of you know, Jack, Noah was an avid sports fan. He loved his Wild and the Vikings. Yes, I'll cherish forever the day. It was a late summer day, early in the season. Went to Applebee's, had a great dinner, all dressed in purple and gold to the hilt, of course. And then we go to the Metrodome with a raucous, boisterous crowd. So much fun that day, not just watching the game, but sharing stories about sports, fantasy football, and to see his passion in his heart for his favorite team. But guess what? The Vikings failed us that day. Anyway, I have a question. If you could just help a little audience participation part. Anybody who spent some quality time with Noah in his life, whether it's once or many times, just raise your hand. Don't be shy. If you had an opportunity, a blessing, what a gift. Thank you. What I'm going to ask you now to do now is to close your eyes, please. Just close your eyes with me and go back to that time. Take a deep breath and exhale. Again, and exhale. Good. So take a minute now to remember and relish a special memory that you have of him. Go back to that day or time. Relive the moment. Relive the experience, okay? Now your eyes may be closed, but what in your mind do you see now? What do you know doing together? What are you saying to each other? What are you hearing? What do you feel? Keep those vibrant images in your mind. What was so special and enduring about this time with him? Let's take a moment in silence and reflect on that. Thank you. Welcome back. Now in closing, referring to my free-spirited nephew, good buddy Noah, I'd like us to turn to the back page of the program, which is a wonderful poem, which you may have already read. It's called, I Heard Your Voice in the Wind Today. And if you're comfortable, I'd be honored if we could read this together as a group in celebration of his life. But don't cry. I heard your voice in the wind today. I heard your voice in the world today, and I turned to see your face. The warmth of the wind caressed me as I stood silently in place. I felt your eyes in the window panes as I watched the falling rain. It seemed as such a raindrop fell, it quietly said your name. I held you close in my heart today. I made you feel complete. You may have died, but you are not gone. You will always be a part of me. As long as the sun shines and the wind blows, the rain falls, you will live inside me forever, for that is all my heart knows. So, with that, Noah, rest in peace. And never stop dancing in the rain during storms. Thank you.
Never, never, never stop dancing in the rain, especially during storms. It's really awesome. Noah was so very loved. It's been reinforced over and over this past week as I've met people that knew him, as Kristen has heard from people she had never met before, and those who have been in her life forever. Many people were impacted by him. Anyone now that would like to share personal thoughts or experiences about Noah is welcome to come to the front and do so. Paul, would you like to? Thank you.
All right. Thanks for coming, everybody. I'm Noah's dad, Paul. Noah loved bowling, as we all know. My dad did too. My dad had the same hook ball, and I could never throw a ball like that ever. I was throwing a straight ball. My dad hated it. Said, I don't know why you can never do it. He watched me all the time. We all know about the heart of gold Noah had. We're not here to discuss Noah's addiction. We're here because we all love Noah. The monster jackets back there, I could pick him out of a crowd. It was his pride and joy. And his dog, Dozer, especially family. 420, that's my son's birthday is all I can say. As a lot of you know, he called me Pops. A lot of his friends did also. I love you guys for that. Until we meet again, son, I love you, Goon. Love, Pops.
I wasn't going to say anything, but my grandma says I have to be next. Okay. I love my little brother. And I don't know what to say. Thank you guys for loving him. I tried to give him the tough love and discipline I thought that he needed, and I thought that maybe I didn't have as much of, so I was trying to go hard on him, and I told him all the right things, and I just tried. I wasn't the best example of almost everything, but I just wanted to be a good example to Noah. And I loved him a lot. Okay, so I realized I was only 13 when he was born. I was almost 14, and when I found out that my mom was having a baby, it was really hard for me because I didn't want to share my mom. And I watched her be pregnant with him, and I used to watch his little Cambria. I used to watch, and my mom and I have a good memory of watching his little feet and everything push through her belly, and she'd grab his foot, and it was sick. And then, when he was born, the day that he went in, my mom was going to have him. We were waiting, and she said it was going to be a while. And so we went out to Perkins, and I had strawberry pancakes. then when we came back, he had been born. Rachel caught him. He was born in the water, right? Okay. And then she came back and she said, "You want to meet your little brother?" And since that day, I have felt responsible for him. And I tried. And we hopefully will know what happened to Noah. We don't know yet. But we know that if he had a choice, he would never have left us. And he loved my children. And had he had more time to know his other siblings, he was going to be an amazing big brother. He loved you, because one thing we know is no matter what he loved, he loved. Okay, and he's always watching over you guys. He's with us every day, every moment. I see cardinals and dragonflies and all the stuff we're supposed to see. I know he's here. Okay, point is, I had a brother. This sucks. He loved his nephew Ethan so much. And Ethan is 14, which is the same age I was when Noah was born. And I will always ask that you guys share all your memories with my children and his other nieces and nephews. I want to thank my mom for everything. But I need to say, and I appreciate we always need to ask for help when we need it. Rachel and Delcy, I thank you for giving my brother an amazing life. Emotionally, financially, you gave him a childhood. You provided him a childhood that was so spoiled. Blessed, 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 blessed. My sister thinks I'm spoiled. It's blessed. He was blessed. But I always say, and this is no disrespect to my mom, his mother, but he had 3 mothers. And all glory and praise to you too. We appreciate you more than you will ever know. I don't know what else to say other than thank you. I love you. I love my brother. Thank you, everybody.
Wow. Yeah, I really wasn't planning on getting up here, but you know, it's my last chance. And this is amazing. I am so blessed. Wow. I really don't know what to say. I've had hundreds of people reaching out to me. I got more Facebook friends than I ever had in my life. It's crazy. It's crazy. But you know, the one thing that has come from all of this is if you don't hug your kids and keep them close and just love them, even if you have to do it from afar, I tell you what, you don't know what you're missing, because when you can't, it's pretty hard. Yeah, my boy was he is my savior, you know. As 99% of you know, I was a terrible alcoholic. And my son came into my life to save me from that. And he did. God had a major purpose for our boy to be here. And he had a major purpose, as Angela said, for her to be his big sister, and for Delcy and Rachel to be his moms. Because without them, no, wouldn't have had the life he had, and I wouldn't have been as blessed as I was. And Mark, his uncle, Adrian, I call him his brother, but he says uncle because he's a bit older, you know, and stuff. And we all had our struggles. And I really wasn't going to address this, but it's so beyond important to me. For anybody that's used today, anybody that struggled with addiction, I want you to just turn and look at each other and know this is what's going to happen if you don't stop, if you don't get past it. Because my baby
struggled hard. I had a Facebook post that came up today. 5 years ago today, it brought him to his third treatment. You just get to the point where you don't know what to do. So I don't want anybody else to live like that. I don't want anybody else to experience that. And I know a lot of you have. And I got a lot of beautiful, sober, wonderful friends that have made my life what it is today. And God, He's out there. He's out there. You know, pray. Reach out to Him. But just don't forget, all of us. We need to stay together. We need to be there for each other. You know, if this isn't just an eye-opener, let it be. I don't know. There's so many thoughts are going through my head and so much. And this lady here was my rock through all this, as is my family and my friends. But my sister came the day. Rob was there, of course, my wonderful boyfriend. But my sister came the day I called her. She was there immediately and has taken care of all of this. And I don't know if you know me very well, but I don't let things, I like to be the caretaker. You know, it's just how I've always been. I like to make everybody else okay and feel okay and stuff. So for me to let people take care of me has been very hard. So I'm grateful to all of you for all of that. And you know, Dad, our boy did love you, and you guys are doing your thing, and thank you. Thank you for being part of our boy, because he's an angel. We have a new house. I have a bird feeder. Rob knows what I'm talking about. And then we have these grackles and these ugly old birds and stuff. We were sitting there now a couple days ago, and there was this bright red cardinal. And it talked to me and talked to me. And I'm not kidding you. We don't have any pretty birds there. And there was that cardinal, and that was my boy. And, yeah, I don't know. I could ramble on for hours, but if anybody else wants to come up and say anything. I want his very good, there's so many of his friends that were here from treatment, that his last treatment, that I'm so grateful. All of you. I don't want to single out anybody because you're all know his life, and it just means the world to me. So thank you. I love you all, and yeah, thank you. You're my baby. My baby, Wade. I'm glad you came up.
I've known Noah since he was 13 years old, and he's always been loving and caring and respectful. And he's not only my friend, but he's my brother, and I would do anything for the guy, and I'm going to miss him. And I started music with Noah. He's always wanted to learn how to DJ, and he was always there for me no matter what, and I know we always will love him and cherish him. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Well, I'm an addict and an alcoholic, and my name is Adam, and I'm in recovery. And I came up here today, as we all did, and them two rows in the back, them are all Noah's brothers from treatment. As his mom just said, that this shit is real. It's jails, institutions, and death. As selfish as it's to say, Noah sacrificed his life for all of us in here today. He took that chance. Whatever happened, I don't know. But God willing, we'll figure it out. Fuck. There's some brothers from treatment that couldn't be here today that wanted me to say my condolences for them, for all of you. So I am, because there's like 13 more people, just to let you know. There's a bunch of love and prayers sending up. Spirit is powerful. I do know this for a fact. Noah was spiritual as well as I am. I read the Bible every day. One day Noah stopped me in the hall and he said, Adam, can you help me? And I said, well, I'd do anything for you, like my little brother, which he is, and he still is. He goes, well, my shoulder's hurting. Can you put your hand on my shoulder and say a prayer? And I said, I don't think I'm equipped to do that, Noah. I said, but I tell you what, I'm going to get in trouble or go in your room, and I'm going to do my best to help your pain. So I went to his room and I said a prayer over his shoulder, and he goes, "It worked." And I said, "Well, yeah, I know it worked. God works through us." And I think what I'm getting at is that, it's been said that us in treatment say, "Rest easy, Noah." And he is resting easy. He's not in pain no more, which really sucks because we had a lot of plans. Me and another guy in the back, we were in front of his doorway trying to tell Noah not to go. Do not leave, Noah. Don't go. You're better than that. It's another guy in the back that we called on the phone to try to get him to stay. Two guys in the back were his roommate. Noah is a beautiful, smart, spiritual boy. He's a little brother that I've never had. And I've been asking him for signs, which is always a sign, kind of like the red cardinal. Well, now it's 90-some degrees. Thanks, Noah. Walmart doesn't sell short-sleeve black shirts. I tell you. So for you guys that don't know us, we all love Noah. Every day he made us laugh. We discovered that he doesn't really have ankles because he played hacky sack in shorts. Yeah, they go right down in his shoes. Ankles, yeah. We played sandbags. I helped him out with his homework. He helped me out, just laugh. And, I woke him up a couple times in group because he's always sleeping. And I love the kid, man. Fuck, this sucks. I got to walk him out that night, and the last words I said to Noah was, "You're a dumbass, but I love you, bro. Stay safe." I wish I could have translated that a little better, but I was so mad at him. And I didn't talk to him after he left, and I wish I would have. But I do know he's in a better place, and like everybody else said before me, if you ever want to talk to him, he's going to be there listening. He's right in our hearts, always. Thank you for letting me come today.
Hi, my name is Linda Everhart, and I am a lifelong friend of Kristen's. And my most precious memory of Noah is when Kristen brought this little baby in a blanket to my house in Albert Lee to visit us. And at home was our 4-year-old daughter. I introduced her, and of course, I am a baby hog, so I had to hold and cuddle this baby for quite some time, and I think my 4-year-old daughter was like, are you gonna ever let him, let go of him? And so I introduced her earlier to Noah, which translated to her as Moses, because she remembered the Bible stories she had been in, and she translated Noah's Ark to Moses. So from that time on, that boy's name was not Noah to her. She always, and I always had to correct her, and she's now 26 years old, and she still will say, "Is that his name?" So a very precious memory, but you think of in the Bible what God said to Moses. When I think about this translation, "I am who I am." And that felt important for me to say. Love you.
Thank you. Extend my condolences to the family. Also, was in treatment with Noah. This kid would light up a room. He'll wake up early in the morning, he would smile. He was just so full of life and had a spirit that just, take a hold of everybody. Would often talk to him, and most of the people and men's in the program. When he was leaving that day, usually when I'm in treatment, I always have to say something that my grandfather or my grandmother would say to me. They would speak to me in parables all the time. And So I told Noah, I said, this is a little boy, and his mama got him ready for school and set him on the front porch. And he was out there waiting on the school bus. And Snake seen him and came from under the fence. Snake said, hey, where you going? He said, I'm going to school. He said, take me with you. He said, I'm not taking you with me. You're a snake. So the little boy gets on the bus and he goes to school. The next day, the little boy's waiting out on the front, waiting for the school bus. Snake sees him. He comes from under the fence. Hey, where you going? He said, I'm going to school. He said, take me with you. He said, I'm not going to take you with me. He said, why don't you think about it? I'm not going to bite you. So he said, I'll think about it. The boy goes to school. The next day, he's standing out in front of the porch, waiting on the school bus. Snake sees him, comes from under the fence. Hey, take me with you. He said, I'm not taking you with me. He said, you said you would think about it. The little boy reached down and picked up the snake, and the snake bit him. He said, you said you weren't going to bite me. The snake said, you know what I was for, you pick me up. I told Noah, if you go out here, you know you're going to get bit, right? He says, yeah, I know, Lucas. But he went anyway. And that's how powerful this addiction is. And it's not even the fact that I use or he used. There's something that happened to us that's deep down that we can't deal with, or we feel that we're worthless or we're not worthy, or, you know, whether it's abuse or whatever it is that we're not dealing with, and all we can do is self-medicate from it. I know what it feels like to be in that situation. I understood him. I talked to him. But the addiction is powerful when it wants what it wants, and it does not discriminate. It would take anybody out. I'm going to miss him. I drove all the way from St. Cloud. I wanted to be here, you know. I want to see my brothers that's still strong and the ones that's still struggling, because it's just not my struggle, it's all our struggle. We need to learn from this. You know, this is the turning point for all of us, because it's just like his mother said, you know, and with this world we in right now, how crazy it is, who's to know? It's just getting crazier and crazier, you know, and he's not suffering anymore. He don't have to worry about that pain or them secrets he don't want to tell, or that abuse he endured, or everything that kept him, like kept me, drinking, self-medicating, hating me more than anything. You know, we had a PhD in hurting us, you know. That's what we were good at, you know, escaping and running. And it was weird because I said, no, you're graduating in a couple of days. Why don't you just stick it out? What are you running from, bro? He said, me. I said, no, we all are. You know, you can do this if you want to. And his response was to me, Lucas, it's going to be okay. Yeah. Young life just snatched away like that, you know. I sit up here, I'm 51 years old. I done lived a lot of my life. He had his life. It's just snatched away from him. You know? And we can't get that back, but we do have those memories. And I thank you guys. Thank you.
My family comes from everywhere. We are cut into many different pieces who aren't always necessarily held together. But Noah comes from people who love each other. Last time I saw my brother, we were at the T-Pain concert. Not together, but he happened to call me and say, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm at the T-Pain concert." He goes, "I'm in VIP, come upstairs." Everything that changed who he was on the outside never, ever touched who he was on the inside. I love my brother. I love that he loved us all unconditionally, no matter which part of the family we came from. I love you, Mom. And I love you, Grandma. Just remember who he was, the fat, curly-haired, blonde-headed boy who never wanted to keep his socks and shoes on. And from the other side of the family, Brittany, Brianna, Yazzie, Gigi, D-Ray, Grandma, Brendan, and Trinity. They love him and they will miss him deeply.
One of my last multiple interactions with Noah was when his mom and I tried to get him into treatment out to Pipestone. And I was the, there's a lot of words that somebody might call me that night, but I was the one that would refuse to bring him back with us. I made him stay there. And, he left shortly after that, but he stayed for a little while, and it was the night that I learned that, if I really had to, because I cared enough, I really could do tough love, if you want to call it that. I really could try to fight for what somebody that I cared about needed to do. And do something that was really hard on my part in order to make it happen. And we were all hugging as we were leaving, and he was looking away and looking up as he was hugging me, and I knew he was so pissed. He was so mad at me. And on his birthday, April 20th, I texted him and said, "Happy birthday, Noah, I love you. Hope you're doing well." And he texted back and said that he was in treatment, that he was learning a lot, and really, said it was a good situation for him. He was glad to be there. And I said, well, I hope you've forgiven me for what we went through last fall or summer. I can't remember when it was exactly. And he goes, "Oh yeah, it needed to happen." And he said, "I love you, Aunt Lori. You did the right thing. Thank you." And I'm not telling you that for my purpose. It's more that to give anybody courage that might need it sometime. But that was the last interaction I had with him, is that he had forgiven me and that we said we loved each other. And it was very cool. So with that, I sense that is there anybody else that would like to say anything right now? There is someone. Great.
So I met Noah when he was like 13, and he was scared because I was older, so he figured my mom was going to hate him. And there's a couple memories I have with him. The first time we went up to MOA. You don't need to hear this one. He's probably in school. And we went to this restaurant, Dick's Last Resort, and they make you little hats. And he put his on. He's like, "What's mine say? What's mine say?" I was like, he says, "Well, Mom thinks I'm in school." And they put my hat on, and I was like, "What's this say? What's this say?" And he's like, "No, I can't say it." I was like, "What's this say?" He says, "I'm old enough to drink, and this kid's in high school." He's like, "You have to wear that the rest of the day." I was like, "If I get arrested, first person we're calling is your mom."
But he was in school.
And then the other memory was with this guy. I'm up here, Skylar. Get up here. On his birthday, his mom took us go-kart racing. And yeah, we got kicked out probably because we were doing things we weren't supposed to with the go-karts, going too fast, running into each other. Then afterwards, we went out for dinner, and his mom's like, "Yeah, it's my son's birthday." And Skylar's like, "Yeah, my birthday was yesterday." I was like, "Well, shit, my birthday's tomorrow." So we did everything possible to get these little tinfoil hats, made us look like aliens, and we all got free ice cream out of it. Yeah, so I'm a little older than him, but I love the kid like a brother, and he didn't matter. He was always a third wheel. When I finally got a girlfriend, he just always wanted to be there.
That was the that was my big thing about actually coming up here was I didn't know how many of you actually knew me and Noah for that kind of relationship, and the tattoo that I got for him, which actually I guess I will tell the whole story of that tattoo, and which is why you get to stay up here with me too now because you're involved. So the whole story with and everything with me and Noah and everything is that I always looked at Noah like he was my little brother, and I always felt like I was his older brother. And everybody in his family, you guys have done a great job, all of you, with everything, and you've definitely taken a toll on my life too, and making me feel very welcome with you guys. So the story with the tattoo and everything like that, and if everybody doesn't know, I do have Noah's name tattooed on me, and it is on my ass. It is on my right butt cheek, and when I actually got done, I didn't know that the person who was doing it decided to put 2 floating hearts next to it. And honestly, I've had that tattoo for about 7 years now, and not one day I went by that I thought about covering it up. So the big joke that I always had with him was I always told him he was a pain in my ass. And so when I got the tattoo, it literally was an actual pain on my ass. So the actual story where that actually came down through it was the day after my birthday. My birthday is April 19th, his is April 20th. We are 2 years and a day apart. And he was actually, I believe, with Delcy somewhere for his birthday, out to eat, out of town. Well, I decided, okay, well, I'm going to play a joke on him. And this guy, Marcus, I told him, all right, well, we're going to go get a Sharpie, and I need you to write Noah's name on my ass. Came back to town. I told him, buddy, I got you a present. He's like, well, where is it? I was like, it's not that kind of present. So we met up at Alexander Park, and I dropped trow right in the middle of the parking lot, and I showed him. And it looked awful. You could tell it was Sharpie, and I don't think he even took the slightest. I don't think he honestly thought the slightest of it. He's, oh, this is cool, this is great, this is awesome. And then I had to actually tell him, this isn't real. Like, this isn't real. Until about probably 3 years later when it was real. And I actually did tattoo it on me. And that was, I will never forget the reaction on his face after I dropped trow and it was a real one. But I have so many memories with Noah. I have so many fun times, so many bad times, so many everything. We had everything, and we always did everything together until about probably the last 2 years. Me and Noah kind of fell out of contact a little bit, not fully, but it was enough. Like, we still kept in contact, we still talked a lot. We just didn't get to see each other a whole lot. We lived 2 different lives. I had a kid at a young age. I had a kid when I was 18. And he was the first person that actually got to see my son when he was born. And he was actually the one who came and picked us up from the hospital when we were in Rochester for 5 months because my son was born very early. And he picked us up and brought us home. And I'm happy that I'll always be able to have that memory with him and that bond. So, thank you.
just want to take a minute to share a couple memories I have with Noah. So, when Angela and I met, Noah. Ethan, I love you so much. So, that's kind of the way I saw Noah after that, was as someone to take care of, a son slash brother. So that's why sometimes, that's the way he felt, he was like someone to help to grow up, to teach. And we had first memories where so Angela and I would be watching TV, and here's Noah's such a stinker. So he was kind of a stinker. He'd come up and change the channel for us to whatever he wanted. It doesn't matter. And we'd kind of have a little battle back and forth with that. But it was always with a smile on his face. Even at 2 years old, he was just, he did it with love. Like, that was just him. He's just trying to be included. And, so then it was kind of a mutual teaching. So it was kind of a test run of how to be a parent to somebody, or at least an authoritative figure in sorts. So, in that way he taught me, and whatever he took from any parenting that would have been given towards him. So I feel like I was able to teach him in a way, in that way. So, we did the Cub Scout thing here and there, so I took him to a day camp thing, and that was cool that we got to have that together. I have a lot of background in Cub Scouts, all that stuff. So that was a nice memory to have with him that I can look back. Years later, we'd battle about upkeep of your room, of your house, how to keep, and that couldn't be told anything, yeah. But one of the last times that I kind of got to talk to Noah, it was through a text, and I got to show him some Anna art, and that was cool. He enjoyed that and said, keep it up, Anna, and loves. And she's not here right now, but she knows. Thank you, Noah, for teaching us a little more about ourselves. Miss you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Junior. I was a treatment brother of Noah's too. I don't even want to talk about, the bad. I want to talk about the goods. When I first met Noah, he asked me what my name was. I said, it's Junior. So he tells me, no, it's Junior. I said, no, it's Junior. And he kept repeating himself. I'm like, Noah, J, no, Junior. All right, so I left it alone. More and more we started getting to know each other more, really hanging out. And we'd sit down in the smoke pad, and I tell him, I'm starting to get on my spiritual side again. He's like, yeah? I was like, yeah. So he started throwing verses at me. I'm like, Noah, slow down. I was like, I haven't done this since I was 15 years old. He goes, all right. Next day. By the time I knew it, by the time he was getting ready to leave, we were spitting Bible verses to each other back and forth. Phenomenal. The kid was amazing. Yeah. every time I remember him, when you guys gave us the memory thing, you know, smile, red cheeks, you know, just every time. Coming up and down the elevator, not even supposed to be in there, but he was coming up and down the elevator. Nah. The main sweater he liked to wear was the tie-dye sweater. Black sweats. Hide in the back corner of the elevator, and then he'd pop out on the second level and he'd be like, Junior! Jump back in there and go back up. Come back down, do the same thing again. It was awesome. It was during our smoke time, so he was good. My last, my last memory with him, though, was my lighter leash. One day he tells me, hey, bro, I need to use your lighter real quick. So I'm like, all right. So I gave him my lighter. He starts walking around the smoke pad. And I'm walking behind him because I'm thinking he needs my lighter. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? I was like, I'm not going to follow you around all day. He goes, dude, I'm walking you. I'm like, wow. But, you know, that was my last memory with him, so my lighter leash never leaves. It's still there, so my respects and condolences to the family, seriously.
So I've known Noah for quite a few years. I know him really well because of my boyfriend Trent. They were like brothers. We have a 4-year-old together, and Noah calls himself Uncle Noah. She would always sit there and play with him, and he'd play with her. One of the best things he told me is he came over and he passed out, and I was like, go home if you're tired. And he's like, no, I feel safe here. And he always called our house his safe house. He was such a good kid. He really was. He was always there for us. He always said, if you guys need anything, just let me know. And I'm like, well, you're the one who needs to come over. Like, come on now. He definitely is a good person. Since the day he passed, I have felt his presence every day. Every day I feel him. I feel him here today. I just wanted to say that I love him. He's older than me by a little over 3 months, but I always called him my little brother because I always took care of him. We always made sure he was doing good. We always made sure that we were there for him when he needed us. But that's all I have to say.
Hi everyone, I'm Carter. I went to treatment with Noah. He was actually my roommate. I actually came to North Star on April 20th on his birthday, which I thought was kind of weird, just coming here and seeing that. I got to know Noah quite a bit for 2-3 weeks. Being his roommate, I found out he's very persistent with because I told him I'd buy him a set of Oakleys or whatever. I got my stimulus check and I'd get him Oakleys for graduation and stuff. And it said the shipping date would be about 2 weeks, but every day he was right there on my ass. Carter, did they come yet? Carter, did they come yet? And, after a while there, it was kind of like the whole tattoo thing. He definitely became a pain in my ass after a while. But getting to know him, I can say he's a very kind-hearted, genuine person. And, given that he, may or may not have completed the treatment, I feel in my eyes he completed it with flying colors just because the knowledge I got off of him was tremendous. And there was a couple times to where I felt like walking out of treatment, just dealing with personal stuff. And being Noah, my roommate, he talked me out of it a couple of times. And I remember down in the cafeteria the one morning, he comes up to me and says, I'm really glad you stayed or whatever. You don't know how much this did for me. And just that little bit right there, it went such a long way. I can't put into words how much the kid touched my heart and how much we became, like brothers in there. And getting to know him, it was a blessing and a gift, to say the least. And, it's sad that he's gone, but just remember all the good times that we've had with him, and he'll be truly missed. So with that, thank you.
Okay, so some of you know me, some of you don't. I met Noah a long time ago, actually. I was probably like 19 and he was probably around 12, thinking he could hang out with a 19-year-old. He thought he was real tough back then and he could rule the world. Well, my interaction was to try to scare the living crap out of him, and I did it. I did it really well, so much so I took his shirt. I gave it back, but I took his shirt. I knew the whole family separately. I've met each one of you separately at my own time. I did not realize Noah was, related to Kim or you. I did not realize Noah was also related to my best friend, Zach. But even though Noah would go through hard times, he would always stop by my house, see my kids. My kids always put a smile on his face. We did a lot with Noah, and he will always be missed by us. So, thank you.
Well, Noah was born during a time when I was in a dark place. And, I never really treated him all that well. But when I finally started coming out of it, I always tried to tell him, like Gandhi, be the change that you want to see in the world. And I reached out to him again just a month before he passed away. There's one thing that I do. What? I'm fine. There's one thing that me and Noah shared a lot with was SpongeBob. Oh, yeah. We went on and on with that. And some of the most funniest episodes we watched together. And there's one episode in particular that made me think of all this happening is the Flying Dutchman. And I hope he's flying aboard the Flying Dutchman, scaring the shit out of everybody. And I just wanted to say, oh!
Yeah.
Ladle, 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 ladle.
My name is Scott, and I'm Noah's cousin. I'm 33 years old, and so we have about a 10-year difference between us. So we haven't been super close. I lived in the cities. He lived, a distance away. So, but he's always been such a good, caring, kind, gentle guy. And, you couldn't ask for much more than that. I know we had a really cool experience once. It was for some holiday. We were able to go to like a wild game together, just me and him. He was about 15, 16 years old, so I got to spend a few hours with him, and he just the excitement in his eyes when he's into something, and the passion was just really always really cool. You could really see that. A lot of people just are just going through day to day and not really showing much emotion, but you can really tell when he had interest in something. That was something I always looked up to. Also, another thing he enjoyed that I experienced was my brother-in-law used to do some MMA fighting, and I was able to go to a fight or two with Noah and some of his buddies, and he really looked up to him for that, and it's pretty cool. It was really cool to see the things he was passionate about, and they're definitely really going to miss him. And I just thought it might be appropriate to say a quick prayer. I guess for me personally, I used to have some issues with alcohol in my life, and I've been sober now for about 20 months today, so it's been a little while, and thank you. It's definitely the best life I've ever lived. I never want to go back, and I'm just so blessed, and just seeing the pain that a lot of people in my family and life and Noah have been going through has been something that's really made it easy to stay on the path for me, just seeing all that, and, I don't want to have my loved ones hurting. So, in saying that, I wanted to say a very short prayer. I'm sure some of you maybe know in this room, it's just a few lines, so if anyone wants to say it with me, it's a serenity prayer. So, I'll just get started on it. So, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Peace. Thanks, everyone.
I got to tell you, that's pretty cool, because I had a prayer here so you'll see in your programs, the prayer of something and guidance and solace. I can't find the thing. Thank you. What more do you need? As a last formal gesture during this service, members of the immediate family and close friends, people that you've invited to come up to light a candle for Noah, we'll have a song during the candle lighting, and whoever is coming up, please go ahead and use the tapers and get the light from Noah's light on the top of